And then I can move her as needed. Okay, hello everybody. We are going to do a wolf cut today. Otherwise known as what I describe it as the love child of the mullet and the shag. But what I do is when I describe it to a parent, I just say that it is the modern shag. So the easiest way to do this is all we're gonna do is we're gonna find out from the client where we want the back, where we want the front. When it comes to the curtain bangs, if they want bangs, she already has a wolf cut. So we're just gonna clean hers up. Look down. So for her, we're just gonna cut off about a 1/2 inch to 1 inch, just to kind of clean this up from her breakage. I'll turn her sideways.
Okay, well, I will call you later on when I get home, okay?
Look straight ahead.
Well, yeah, no,
Now for your bangs, do you want them touching your nose? Do you want them up at your eyebrows? Where do you want your bangs?
yeah.
The middle of my head is French.
At the middle of your nose? Okay. So bangs are the standard when it comes to the little triangle, edge to center to edge. And then usually what I will do is I do a little bit of a curtain bang. So she's choosing mid-nose. Split it in half. And so instead of doing like a face framing, this one goes back. And so Kelly, do you remember when I was talking to you yesterday about what happens if we pull it forward and cut it?
Yes.
Okay, that's what we're gonna do. We're gonna pull it forward and we're gonna cut it. Because of the fact that with the wolf cut, it goes back. That's where the mullet part comes in.
Okay, tell me real quick, so what's the difference of a face frame and what you're gonna do right now?
Face framing is where we have it cut down. So it has that soft right through here, but when we cut it, it goes straight down. So you can go through and do the slither cut like this, or we can kind of flip it forward. And you know how you've probably seen it where we pull it forward and then cut it at an angle? All it does is it does the same thing. So when it lays down, it's all right here. The wolf cut, it goes from here and back.
Oh, okay.
And so that's kind of where the mullet part comes in, because it comes back. It's the one thing that we always learn in school, don't do it. Well, now we have full range of, we're allowed to do it. And so all we're gonna do is pull it forward. So with her, I already know where we're going, but the easiest way to find out where we're starting from, the bangs, is pull this forward and we can actually figure out what our angle is. Pull this forward, here's the bangs, and follow it from with your comb, middle of the nose, which is where her bang is, to that tip, and there's our angle. Does that make sense? Okay. So all we're gonna do is take that at that same angle and cut this out. So what I'm doing, like I was saying before, what I'm doing is pulling it forward and cutting this off. Guide has dropped out, so we know we reached our destination. And we're gonna do the same thing to the other side. Again, fingering bridge of the nose to the edge, which is right here. So there's that to the bridge of the nose. There's our angle. And we're just gonna go through and follow that angle. And the easiest way for me to do it is I follow the face. I map it out on face parts. So cheek, chin, and the neck. And then guide has now dropped out. And I have a little trick that goes along with this that makes it so that you know if everything is nice and even. Have your client look down and see how it falls. And everything should meet up nice and even. And if it does, you know the haircut's in balance so far. Look up. Any questions? So that's the mullet part of this kind of thing, along with how we're gonna cut the back. So from here, we're gonna figure out how much hair does she have and how shaggy does she want to be for this wolf cut. So for her, usually what I do, because I usually do her hair, and so I usually take her to about here, so right above the occipital bone. So that's that much cut off. Take it forward so that we can make our guide. And it's the old saying of our guide should be able to be seen through. And we're gonna cut that off. Split it in half. We now have half our guide on one side and half of our guide on the other side. Okay, there was something I taught you about 2 weeks ago, Kelly, about your elbows. Do you remember it?
That.
If your elbows are up, you're leaving volume. If your elbows are down, you're taking volume out.
Yes, you wrote it on the receipt, which is still in my locker because I
Good.
use it for the layers. Yeah.
So with this and with the mullet, our elbows are down. Okay, so have you ever heard that one? Okay, so when you think of when you're doing long layers, you're elevating the hair, and when you're usually cutting into a V or cutting it out this way, your elbow's up, right? So when we cut like gentlemen's haircuts, where is your elbow? It's down, yeah. So when your elbow is up, you're achieving volume. You're leaving interior haircut, all the hair. If your elbow is down, you can't keep the interior. So what we're gonna do by doing that is by putting that elbow down, is we're gonna be taking interior out, taking volume out. So a wolf cut can be used on anybody. And so, but what it does is otherwise known as, like I said before, is the shag. We're taking all that interior hair out of there to give it that wispy, fluffy 70s look. The only difference is I'm going to stand so I can cut her hair this way. I'm right-handed, but I prefer to stand on my right side. So all I'm gonna do is I'm cutting it with elbows down. And easiest way to do it for me is I go through, find my guide, and then I pull it out. And what that does is it leaves the top part and we're cutting out the center. Does that make sense? Okay, think of what you do when you cut a man's hair. Think of it how your hands are angled. Your hands are angled parallel to the head. right?
Mhm.
Same with a wolf cut. Same with a shag. And pie shapings, always facing towards the head. And I apologize, this is probably looks very awkward because I'm really standing in front of her, trying to stay out of the camera's way. Any questions yet? So we're going tip to tip to do this. And so tip up here to the tip down here. So all we're cutting out is interior. Okay? So half of what I already cut and half of what I have not cut. Get out of my way. There's my guide, pull it out. So guide. And guide. Keep turning her around. Half of what I did before and half of the new section. Can anyone tell me why I do half and half?
Half and half what, sorry?
Half of what was previously cut and half of the new section.
So you have a guide.
Yes. Nice clean partings. Always making sure that they're nice and clean. That way you know where you are, what you've done, and where you are going. Up, out. So in our computer, you would put this out as a 90-degree layer because it's always 90 degrees.
So question, when I look at like, cause girls have come in and say, I want a wolf cut, right? I'm like, I've never heard that.
Yeah,
So I look at pictures, and
it's a-
to me, it just looks like a long layered haircut. What's,
it's a shag.
right, so
Yeah.
it's really just a name that someone's put to it?
Yeah, exactly. It's all it is a modern shag. And so to where it's not the old bubble style like from the Brady Bunch or
Yeah, so
part.
it's just a shag, but they just call it the wolf now. Okay, cause I've like pulled it up and I'm like, that's just a regular.
Okay, for a minute I thought my sunglasses still on. Yeah, no, all it is somebody came through and said, oh, I want to call it this. All it is just 90-degree layers. And so, which is what you would do for a shag. Back in the 70s, it was 90-degree layers. Nowadays, it's 90-degree layers. I think it was early 2000s. We had the where it was bubbled up on top and we kind of scooped it up. Those were 90-degree layers. So it's the same thing. So actually, basically the same cut. The Jennifer Aniston was 90-degree layers. That way she had all of that fullness up at top, but not at the bottom. There's my guide, pull it out. working my way around. Now we're coming to the other side. And I'm gonna start kind of tapering them to the face again. So we're at that ear point. So half of here, get that out of my way. So this is my last one that's gonna go straight down. After this, we're gonna start pointing them to the face. The reason we like to start pointing them to the face is so we don't take any hair out from the curvature of the ear or a receding hairline if they have one. Because there's no hair all through here. Mother Nature was not kind to us on that one. No, I'm joking. So including at that pointing part, point it out. Now we're gonna point it towards the face. Up and then out. Gone. And we are back at the bangs. So we really don't have anything to cut off here. Welcome to Dome Jet. Careful, don't fall.